Because an online store lives, well, online, the only contact customers have is usually with an auto-generated email. This means it's important that you make this automated experience as personal and personable as possible. Under the notification settings, you can customize the different email templates that will be used to send your customers messages when they interact with your site. The default ones are pretty good, but I recommend adding a personal touch to these emails to make the experience a little less cookie cutter. The notification settings are found under Settings and Notifications, and from here you can see the templates for each of the different types of notifications people can get. An order notification, a new order notification, a new order notification for mobile, shipping confirmation, shipping update, contact buyer, order canceled, and fulfillment request. Let's take a look at one of these templates to see how they work. So if I click on the template, you'll see I get the template editor open right away. And here you see that these templates are actually plain text combined with something called email variables. So you'll see, for instance, in the subject, it says order confirmation for order, and then it says bracket, bracket, name, bracket, bracket. This piece of text here, the two curly brackets with a word inside, are these email variables. So you see throughout this template, here you have some text, and then you have, again, an email variable, and email variables with math in them, and email variables with other kind of requirements. So what's happening is when someone places an order, they of course need to get all this information, but the information changes based on the order. So Shopify uses these variables and replaces the variables with the actual information. So in the case of shop name, you would display the shop name here. In the place of date, you would display the date of the actual purchase. In the event that the shipping requires shipping address, you would use this if statement, which says if it requires shipping, then display the shipping address, and if not, display something else. So as you can see, this email template is in reality a combination of plain text and a custom programming language that's designed specifically to make these email templates. Like I said, these email templates are pretty good as they are, and adding a personal touch to them is not very hard, at least not if you don't want to use any of these variables. So if you leave the variables alone, you can still make changes to it in layout, or you can add extra messages simply by typing them in. And you can also move things around and reorganize this template if you want to. If you make a change, you scroll down and click Preview Plain Text Email. You get a pop-up that actually shows you what this plain text email is going to look like when the templates are filled out with actual information. So here you see an order number, here you see a shipping address and a billing address, and below it you see what's been purchased. You can also send a test email to an email address that you specify, and you can even enable or disable HTML email. I tend to leave these unchecked because HTML email often gets messed up when it gets sent to a customer, but in some cases you may want to leave it on because you can put in pure HTML into this format. That means you can add images and links and other information if you want to. It's totally up to you. It just depends on whether or not you trust the person who receives the email to have HTML emails enabled or not. When you've made a change, you've tested it by previewing it and also sending a test email, and you're satisfied with what you've done, click Save to save the changes. If you want to collapse this panel, simply click Cancel, and the panel will collapse, and then you have more space for the rest of the content. Once you're done editing the templates, scroll down, and here you'll find Order Notifications. Now, these are notifications that are sent to you when people interact with your site, for example, when they purchase a product. And here you can define who gets the email or emails when a purchase is made or something else happens on the site. By default, these order notifications are sent to the same email address you used to set up the Shopify site in the first place. But I recommend creating a separate email address to receive this type of notification. You can either use the same one you use for customer inquiries, or you can set up an entirely different one. And in many companies, you also have several people who want this notification, not just one person. You can do that by adding another order notification. I can click Add an order notification here, and then I can either set an email address, a mobile phone, or email a staff member. That's someone who's already registered on the site. So I'm going to say email address here, and then I can add my own email address if I want, and click Add Notification. Now you see the new email appears, and I can send a test notification if I want, and I can also either disable or delete it. And this is really important. Let's say you added 10 people to this list, and then one of them says, hey, for the next couple of weeks, I'm on vacation, so I don't want to get these emails. Well, in that case, instead of deleting the email address and then having to re-add it, you can simply click disable, and now this email address is no longer receiving the emails. But when you want to reactivate it, you don't have to re-enter the email address or find it again. You simply go and click enable, and it pops back up. And of course, if someone quits or they no longer want to receive these emails ever again, you can just delete it by clicking delete. At the bottom of the notifications window, you also have something called webhooks. Now, webhooks are quite advanced and far outside the scope of this course. But if you know what webhooks are and you want to create custom webhooks for your site, this is where you do it. Customizing your email templates will only take a couple of minutes, but adds a personal touch to the shopping experience and ensures that your customers feel like they're dealing with a real person and not an automated computer system.